Welcome to AMAC's first Legends and Leapers program for 2021. This initiative of having monthly conversations between industry legends and emerging leaders reveals the commonalities and the differences in perspectives on the industry. And as AMAC is the leader in advancing diversity and inclusion in our industry, conversations like this are important in gaining firsthand knowledge of the challenges and successes of our panelists, and they promote the next generation of aviation leaders. In addition to our Legends and Leapers program, we actually have several programs and initiatives that prepare our members for business and professional opportunities. They promote topical issues of concern to our members. We also have programs that advocate on behalf of our members. And we have programs that engage our members even beyond AMAC with exposure to valuable networking opportunities. So if you are not a member, we invite you to join us today at www.amac-org.com. Today, our Leaper moderator is Mori Russell. And Mori serves as the Business Development Manager at Concessions International, and she's also the Southeast Region Director for AMAC. Mori represents the third generation of the Russell family involvement in Concessions International. Mori is also a key member of the business development team and has developed and maintained crucial business relationships while helping to elevate the level of innovation at the company. And our legend moderator today is none other than Ricky Smith. Ricky currently serves as the CEO of the BWI Thurgood Marshall International Airport in Maryland, and he's also AMAC's board chairman. So during this webinar, feel free to engage with us in the chat, and you can submit your questions in there. But at this time, I'd like to turn the program over to our moderators, Ricky and Mori. Ricky?
Thank you, Anthony. I see you leave the tough administrative announcements to me. First of all, thank you all for joining, at least based on registrations. This represents the top in attendance of all the Legends and Leapers sessions that we've had so far. So I want to thank the two panelists for that. I want to thank Mori for joining us. This was kind of difficult because we're in a contract dispute with Lauren. And so she's not with us today. We'll see if we can work that out. She's demanding a little too much, but we'll see if we can work that out. I think Mori is going to remind us that that we don't have to pay Lauren what she's asking for, right, Mori? You got this. As you know, we do our practice sessions, and we always alert the panelists that we do not give them questions in advance, so they have no idea what questions are going to be asked. We don't know what questions we're going to ask. It kind of comes to us during the program. But those planning sessions normally go pretty well. The last one was a little different. Kiva and Gregg don't quite get along. And so we'll see how that works out during the session. We had to referee them a little bit. So Mori, we'll have to make sure that we do the best we can to referee the two of them, because they can be difficult to work with. So that being said, again, thank you for joining us. I'll now turn it over to the very capable Mori Russell.
Hello, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to do a quick introduction of both of our panelists, starting with Mr. Gregg Paradies. So as I think a lot of attendees on today are familiar with Mr. Gregg Paradies, the president and CEO of Paradies Lagardère. All of you who don't know, Paradies Lagardère is a leading airport travel retailer and restaurateur in North America with over 950 stores and restaurants in approximately 100 airports. Gregg himself is responsible for the company's overall business, ensuring Paradies Lagardère continues a strong tradition of providing exceptional customer service, superior design, and award-winning store and restaurant operations and management. So just a little bit about Gregg. He became the CEO of Paradies Lagardère in June of 2004. And Gregg held many positions in the organization before getting to that CEO role. So it was not you know, as we're talking of leapers, he has been leaping his way along. He earned his bachelor's in business administration and finance from the University of Texas. And he actually entered the retail industry through the executive training program at Macy's. Shortly after, he joined his family's business that his father and his uncle created as the manager of hotel properties. So again, that was back in the day, and Gregg has just really been working his way to his current role today as CEO. Gregg's leadership has earned the organization consistent honors and industry awards. I think we're all familiar when we go to these ACI and even the AMAC conference, Paradies is always being recognized for something, and we give a lot of those props to Gregg and his team. Gregg's vision and commitment to philanthropic work has also guided Paradies Lagardare's participation in a wide variety of community and giving programs, some of which you all know, Make-A-Wish, No Kid Hungry, but definitely has a good hand in the community work. So we appreciate that. And that's just a little taste on Gregg. And of course, Gregg is a corporate member of the AMAC, Airport Minority Advisory Council. So thank you so much for that, Gregg, being in the Southeast region.
Thank you, Mori. Yeah, we've been a member since day one of AMAC.
Yes.
Proud to be a member since day one of AMAC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now going on to the beautiful Kiva Rodriguez, who is actually the Deputy Chief in Planning and Engineering at Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport. She currently oversees the administration of Division of Planning and Engineering for both of the airports, Baltimore, Washington, as well as Martin State Airports. I don't know if many people know, but they actually, I think Ricky and Kiva both oversee both of those airports. Kiva provides organizational strategy and policy development for planning, design, and construction of projects for both airports. Kiva is very experienced with over 17 years in her respected work. She actually received her bachelor's of science in civil engineering from the University of Maryland and her master's of business administration from the University of Baltimore. So she is clearly a Baltimore, Maryland chick. She enjoys volunteering and introducing kids to career systems in STEM and the BWI Summer Youth Initiative. So again, another person who's very involved in the community. Kiva, we are so glad to have you today and ready to get into this conversation.
Yes, thank you, Mori. Thank you for the introduction. I'm really excited to talk to everyone. Even Gregg, we do get along.
Kiva and I are like best friends now after our
That's
process.
right. That's buddies.
All right, well, let's jump into the first question. Thanks for the introductions, Mori. So it's hard to have a conversation like this without just recognizing the context of the pandemic that we're dealing with, right? So can both of you share with us how this pandemic has made you a better professional and a better person?
If it's okay, I can kind of
Sure.
jump in. So I guess for myself, when I remember the day that we had to jump into action, it was, I believe it was Thursday, March 12th. I remember that because Friday the 13th was the last day that we were all in the office for planning and engineering at BWI. And as soon as we understood that our work arrangements may change or are changing, I was able to use my skills as a project manager in construction. Basically, when something hits, you just have to jump into action. You have to organize your thoughts, understand what your resources are, and get right on it. And I consulted with the chief engineer of a general plan of action. He just said, go, whatever you need to do. And I was really focused and challenged with making sure that I was communicating as clearly and quickly as possible with a team of folks who are spread out. We had some people sitting in the office. We had some people in the field. We had some people on travel, some out on leave. And I instantly had to not only communicate, but modify the way that I communicated. And it was just kind of the jumpstart. I felt lucky even to say that it kind of forced me into the position to jumpstart that thinking of being creative in the way that you communicate, because obviously most of us throughout the year have had to do that. It's also forced me to become more in tune with how the members of my team are most adept to communicating. Not everyone communicates well over phone. Not everyone communicates well over email. So I have to remain and stay in tune with how to best communicate with each person in order to keep them motivated to continue to meet our goals and our tasks. So for myself, it was a way to work on strengthening that skill set.
So what about personally?
Personally, same thing. You know, I not only have to, you know, get this relationship and make sure I'm growing this relationship with my staff, but even, geez, many of us, our you know, work arrangements changed. For myself, my office situation has changed. I'm working from home. My new coworkers are my husband and my daughter. So not only having to communicate with the staff that I work with, but also communicating, you know, constantly with the people that I live with to make sure I'm balancing my responsibilities between both my job in the office and outside of my office. So, you know, I think that it's really tested my communication skills more than anything. And not only communicating out what's needed, but also making sure I'm listening actively to receive and understand what the needs are of everyone so that I can do my best to meet them. And again, taking that time to mindfully think through the needs of others and making sure that I am addressing them.
Gregg, you're up.
So this is where you tell her to give you a chance to talk, Gregg.
God, she's a hard act to follow, Kiva. This is hard going second. Hopefully I could go first the next one, but professionally, I don't know if I'm better. You'd have to ask my team, and I think we have over 100 members of our team on this call. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe not.
But I would tell you from a professional standpoint, and I'm real proud of our leadership team for Paradies Lagardère. And it gets down to communication, being transparent, being honest. As I share with our team, it's a balance between, as I call it, healthy pessimism, so everybody wants to know the truth, and healthy optimism, because everybody needs hope, and you cannot BS your way through it. So starting day, right when we got back from AXN, I started weekly videos with all of our management team. Every Thursday, consistent communication, so they could see my face, they could see, you know, my mood, once again my honesty, and we started the communication piece. So the communication, we've had to communicate a little differently. It took me a while to get used to using Microsoft Teams, and one of my rule was you had to turn on your camera. So I'm not very good at reading the air. And that was an early frustration of getting my team to participate in these calls as they would around our table in our boardroom. But the communication and also just having good debate. Once again, it's a little harder to have good debate around a computer screen versus around a table. But I really challenge the team to let's have good debate. That's something we've always been very good at Paradies, is putting things on the table. We trust each other. And fortunately, Paradies Lagardère, you know, we've been around for 60 years, and our core values, our mission statement, and the family culture has really created that strong foundation where our team trusts us. But we know we could lose trust in a minute or a day or a week if we don't provide trust. And we also know as leaders, we're under the microscope. So if I'm frowning in a meeting, the team is going to know things aren't good. If I'm upbeat, they're going to be more positive as well. So we can never underestimate the way we are perceived by our team members. So, and that's live and also on teams as well. So we have certain, you know, etiquette around participating in these type of teams or Skype calls or Zoom calls, because everybody's here to work. everybody's being paid to work. So I tell from a professional standpoint, the communication, the trust, and the foundation we've had in place has been very, very helpful for helping us weather this pandemic. But we still have work to do. And I think same thing with our airport partners and brand partners is we've always had the trust of our airport partners and our brand partners. And I believe we've actually strengthened it during the pandemic because we've been as transparent and honest as anybody, and our airport partners appreciate it. From a personal standpoint, may have to ask my family. I've tried to work on my patience, which I'm not very good at, but I'm trying to work on that. My listening skills, which I've been trying to work with as well. And it's interesting, what I've truly learned, and we went through, my leadership team went through a offsite, which is a really Zoom offsite with a business psychologist to really understand how everybody's handling the pandemic. And it's interesting that you assume if somebody's like you, who has a family like you, who lives in Atlanta like you, who has an important job like you, or a job, I shouldn't say mine is important because there's more important jobs in our company, that they're living the pandemic the same way. But what I've learned quickly is everybody's going through this pandemic differently. You need to respect that, understand it, and dig a little deeper than you normally would in a conversation. So hopefully I've gotten better at that. I've worked at it. I've been coached on that piece because you have to understand what everybody's going through. And I've been fortunate. I'm working in my office now, so I don't have young kids running around saying, "Daddy, Daddy," or dogs barking at me. I've worked at a home for a while, and then my family threw me out, which is good for them and good for me. But my working conditions are great, but everybody doesn't have those. So you have to respect that, understand that. At the same time, everybody has a job to do. So that's sort of my long answer to your question of professionally and personally, how I believe I've handled the pandemic.
Well, both of you focused on how you interact with your team members, both in your household as well as your workplace. Can you talk a little bit more about how do you motivate? How have you been able to motivate your team members, given the constraints around this kind of distant interaction and just the depressing mood that so many of us are having to live through with this pandemic?
Who's going to go first on this?
Yeah, I was going to say, Greg, you can go first on this one.
Okay, so you give me a tougher question. So how do you motivate? And I'm the type of leader that enjoys walking around the office and interacting, and you can learn so much that way. So I've had to adapt how I do that. So a couple of things I've done is with all of our top talent, the first month I had one-on-one phone conversations with them. Our top, what we call like our top 150 leaders in the company. So it was amazing, really the depth of the conversation. So I didn't do it. I just went back to the old way of the phone, somewhere on Teams, but on the phone. And this was not just about work, it's about them personally and their families. And that I learned a ton from them. And also how I needed to understand how different people, the pandemic is impacting different people. So that's how it started. As things have evolved, I do virtual lunches. So I used to do a lot of lunches where I would go out for lunch with people. Now I'm doing virtual lunches. And those have been really good with all of our top talent, because I'm not naive to think that we do not have risk as far as people. We've always been that high engagement, high retention company. But hey, people have to take care of their families. All of our team members, management took 30 to 50% pay cuts. No bonus this year. So I'm not naive to think some people are not on the fence. Do I stay or should I go? Fortunately, we've been able to do a good job retaining top talent. That's because of the job all of our leaders are doing. And really what I enjoy most in regard to interacting and motivating our team is traveling. So I've been traveling every week or every other week. And for me, it has been therapeutic. I never thought I could enjoy traveling so much. During the darkest days, you could see how airports were morgues. and wearing a mask for 16 hours, 12 hours, it's a little different than putting on a mask to go out to the store. They're wearing masks all day. So I got a real appreciation for the lives they were living, and really the heroes. They are the heroes. The people in the stores, our management, obviously they're exposed to COVID much more than I am in this office, and they maintain such a positive attitude. And they inspired me so much, Ricky, I can't tell you. And I brought that to our team. So I got our team traveling safely and not together, not in big groups. So we did it carefully and smartly, but we had to know the truth. And as a leader of any company, the hardest thing is getting the truth. And in a pandemic world is even tougher because you're not seeing and touching people as often. So those are things I've done, which I think has been good for the team. I was just in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago, and just the team was energized. And also, as we brought back people from furlough, they are so excited to be back with us. And their excitement permeates to our entire team in Charlotte, and basically energizes me to a whole different level of what I do and why I do it. So I'm as inspired as ever to lead better, so I can lead this company, and our leadership team can lead this company out of the pandemic. And I'm very confident we're going to be stronger from this. We have some more pain to be felt in the next 6 months, but we're going to come out stronger, just like we did 9/11, just like we did the Great Recession. But this is a whole different story of a challenge.
And Gregg, just a quick question. When you do these virtual lunches, how does that work? Are you Uber Eatsing lunch to your staff, or y'all are just both having lunch together on the video? I haven't had one of those yet.
Yeah, we're just having lunch together on the video, so everybody can bring their own thing.
Okay.
So fortunately, one of my daughters has got into making me lunch, which never happened. So when you talk about good things coming from the pandemic, that's a good thing. So I'll bring lunch, and yes, I'm more mindful of our manners, because when you're eating on a screen,
yeah,
screen etiquette is something we've preached to our team as well. Just how you dress, how your cameras focus, and be aware you're being seen.
Letter at the top, leggings, and house shoes at the bottom.
I can't tell you what I'm wearing on the bottom, but I'll tell you after this call.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're not wearing leggings. That's
Maybe a little Spanx, because Spanx is one of our key brand partners. And it makes me look hopefully a little thinner, but thank you for the question. Kiva?
Well, yeah, I would say for myself, Gregg, I think it was one of the things that you said from the first question about trust. I want to add to that follow through for myself. So for the team, I knew I could kind of see it in their eyes, not to be super dramatic, but I work with a team of professionals where a big part of our job is very tangible. If we need patching on a runway, we have to send a team out to look at it. They come back, and we're swinging by each other's offices to talk about a plan of action, to get it funded, to get a crew out, the timing, everything is so in person. And for a number of the people that I work with, that's all they've ever known is, being able to communicate in this way. So when we had to put these protocols in place for teams to work from home, for everyone to make sure that they have all of the devices that they need and all of these things, I kind of had to reassure them that it's going to be okay. And if they had a question about anything, to come to me. I will try to be proactive to figure out a way to keep you working so that this is not a stressful part of your day. So, and as time went on, I continued to fight for whatever they needed and to make sure that they had everything they needed in order to function. Now, going beyond that, obviously, once the initial excitement of, this shakeup has occurred, you're still challenged with keeping your team motivated to continue to work on projects, especially as resources begin to dwindle. I work for a state agency, and like many of the local and state governments and municipalities around us, we are beginning to feel the impacts of lesser funding. And it makes working a bit more difficult when a big part of your work is paying for the repair or the construction of something, or even the design. And, that can be a very frustrating thing for someone who is so comfortable, well, it's so used to, you know, being able to start, go through a process and finish it. When you have to start and stop, it's very frustrating.
Mhm.
So I found that some team members were beginning to lose hope, you know, kind of feeling like, what's the point? You know, I've already heard, you know, there's, you know, just to say it bluntly, there's no money. I mean, there's money, but, you know, we have to find ways, creative ways, and take our time with deciding on certain priorities. But they kind of throw their hands up, right? So I had to not only actively listen, like I said before, and not just in a staff meeting, but, you know, kind of like what Gregg said, like I had to call people. I had to really listen to what was unsaid on that in that staff meeting, and kind of come up with a game plan with them to say, this is what I think I can do, or at least I can try. Even if it doesn't work, it doesn't hurt to try. And with that, I continue to work and fight and email and whatever I have to do to try to get movement on some of these initiatives. And some of them we were able to get some movement on. And with that, you know, I kind of gained that trust to say, you know, hey, I think maybe we can continue to get something done. We just have to be creative, and, you know, I'll do my part, as in myself, I'll do my part to continue to reach out, but I also extend that offer to staff to say, you should reach out to me, because you never know. We might be able to do this. We might be able to make something happen. I just have to know what you need. And even if I can't make it work, I will tell you. I will tell you exactly why. I don't come back with just a no. I come back with a no, and here are all the reasons. What do you think? Do you think that maybe with this information, there's a different way that we can? So I mean, I just keep going until I'm finally told the final no and all the doors are shut. So, and I think that they, yeah, I think that they see that they have someone who's a partner more so than, you know, just someone kind of telling them, you know, this is what needs to be done. I'm a partner. I'm with them in the trenches. This is our problem, not your problem. So that's a big part of it, is trust. That's what keeps people motivated.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, great responses from you both. And I really want to target this towards you, Kiva, and then Gregg, please add in as you feel needed. Like, I can just hear you. I see why you've been able to leap and climb the ladder, just your mindset, how you're thinking, how you're dealing with people. But just in general, what is success to you? What does that mean in general on the business and the personal level?
Well, unfortunately, my definition of success has nothing to do with me. I wish I could come up with an answer like that, but I can't. The thing that really excites me is, like, I'm actually shaking thinking about it, is the idea of someone feeling like they can do anything. They can do whatever it is that they dream of, or even sparking something in them to dream. So if this is a seasoned employee who has decided that they want to pursue their bachelor's degree, I am the biggest cheerleader. From a personal level, my grandmother was the valedictorian of the grad school I went to, the University of Baltimore. She went back to school in her 60s. And then she went on to get her master's, and she taught at a community college in the city. My mother graduated from college in her 50s. So age is nothing to me when it comes to education, and not just formal education. If someone decides they want to get a certification, they want to better themselves or learn something new, I am there to push and to motivate and or even just to spread their skill set. You know, I want to learn what the guy in the office next to me is doing. Let's just figure out a way to do it. And the moment that I see that they are moving in that direction, that is success for me, because I was able to impart something on them that opened a door that they never even knew existed. And truly, I feel like that's my purpose, is to do that, because I had so many examples and so many people that did that for me, that opened doors that I didn't even know existed. And I want to do the same thing. And if I'm doing that, that's success to me.
Love it. It's not about you, it's about us.
Yeah. Mori, do you want me to take that question?
Yeah, if you want to answer
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. No, I think it's a great question. And once again, I'm very fortunate. I look at myself as I have two families who I love, my work family, my home family. I'm fortunate to have two very good families. So I'm truly blessed with that. And really with my work family, how I really define success is me along with my leadership team is focused on how do we create a great place to work for strong performers who believe they're working for not just a company, but they're working still for a family and they're part of a family. So if their family life is not good, we could be that other family for them. And what really energizes me is and we're not there in all areas of our company, but we've come a long way there. So we have a lot of, as I was in Charlotte, we recognize a 30-year manager for our company who I've known for 30 years, and she's part of the family, and she feels part of the family, and she makes everybody in Charlotte feel part of the family as well. But I've seen her growth, and I go down the halls, even though we just have a small group here at our office, just people who have been with us 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and so appreciate the opportunity to grow. And they also know they're accountable, and they want to see the company grow. So I'm energized. I'm a very competitive person, and I'm energized with, making sure people feel as though they're winning personally and professionally. And I enjoy that coaching part through my virtual lunches and other interactions when I'm traveling. So that's really, going back to if the company wins, everybody wins. And I believe people truly trust that. A lot of companies talk about that, but their teams don't trust the leaders. I firmly believe our company, our team trusts the leaders. Once again, you could lose that in a minute. And we've seen many companies out there lose in a minute. So you can never take that for granted. So that's really how I deem success from a professional standpoint. And if the team wins, we all win. And I like hiring competitive people who like to win, because those are the ones who are going to be successful. So family standpoint, very fortunate to have a great family. My wife and I have been married for 32 years. So once again, blessed. And I've traveled a lot of that time. We joke each other. I've never been in town as much the last 12 months in my 32 years of marriage. So my wife is saying, when are you traveling now, Gregg? But she says it half joking, but we've done a lot of family bonding, which has been great. I got three great daughters who are in the workforce, and it's allowed me to get closer to them and also see how they're thinking about things. Because my three daughters, one's engaged and the other two are dating, and just seeing how dating how the pandemic has impacted dating. Okay, things you really don't think about, but they like going out and being with friends. And once again, they've been very careful. So from a family standpoint, it's really brought us closer. We've always been a very close family, and we've done a ton of walking and outdoor stuff together. So there's a lot of good things that have come out of this pandemic. That's one. I mean, I told my team, walks late in the afternoon, early evening, every day with my family during the pandemic. That has continued, and that's special time because we're all on our phones all day. People who know me know I'm a workaholic, so hopefully I've gotten a better balance of life. I've worked on that piece. So once again, that's how I define success, and a lot of personal success for me is balance.
Yeah.
If I can add something, Gregg, you said that if the company wins, everyone wins. I really like that, because based on kind of marrying our answers, to the great question that was posed to us, I see like the idea of that personal growth or that personal fulfillment in a way of kind of what you're talking about, Gregg, being, kind of like a catalyst to inspire your folks to bring their best work or their best product to work, right? So if you're taking care of them personally, then they are motivated to do better work and, to really bring their best to the table, which then kind of, it breeds this wonderful environment, of success, basically. And, in a way you can kind of say it's a little bit of both. You take care of the company by taking care of the people, who then it's just kind of like it's just one of the results of it.
Yeah. And you have to, Kiva, thank you. And it's a great point. And you have to make sure it's not just talk. You got to walk the walk, and walking the walk is everything we do. So all of our leaders took bigger comp reductions than our managers. Compensation programs have to align with, if the team wins, everybody wins. So once again, there's a lot of companies out there who talk a good game, who make pretty proposals for RFPs, but who are those companies that really walking the walk every day? Those are the ones. That's why we've been here for 60 years. And as I tell our team, that's why we're going to be here the next 60 years. And I hope to be here the next 60 years too. My team sort of says, really? Yeah, I love what I do. And hopefully I can be here as long as I can. I'm not sure if they want me to be here for 60 years and crawling around, but that's my goal as a leader. And that's really why it's such a fulfilling job of what I do. It's not a job, it's a family.
Yeah, and Gregg, the fact that you're talking about family, I don't know if you were mentioning that your daughters are in the family business or they work, is that?
Yeah, they are not. And the rule in our family was always you work outside the business first. And then I'm not sure how yours was, Maury, but my daughters are doing well. One's and getting her MBA at Wharton. One's got her MBA at Emory and is at UPS, and the other one's at Bain Consulting. So they're all doing their own thing. They're all driven. I always say the good news, bad news is my wife and I are both type A personalities. And sometimes we're too hyper driven, but all the kids are doing well. And once again, have a good balance and have good values. So I'm proud of it. And hopefully one day, if they want to come in the business, they can. But just like with and I'm very fortunate, my uncle and father, Maury, I think you may have known Jim and Dan Paradies, they really did the hard work. Okay, I joined the company in '87, but when it's about a $35 million business, but that first 35 million is harder than the next billion. Okay, very honestly. So I was very fortunate to have the opportunity, but if you wanted the opportunity to be in our business, you had to work at it. You just weren't, and very similar to your family. I know your 3 generations, your grandfather was a great mentor to me. And if you wanted to be in it, you were given nothing. And the reality is you had to work harder because as a family member, you are under the microscope like nobody else. And getting honest, constructive feedback is challenging. Unfortunately, many of y'all may know Dick Dixon. He was a CEO prior to me in 2004. He was that mentor who could tell me, Gregg, you did good here, but these are your opportunities. And he was always the one who I could trust to give me honest feedback. And I want honest feedback. Unfortunately, several of my team members give that. Just like I give them feedback, I want to get feedback as well. That's the only way leaders get better. And if you ever start drinking your Kool-Aid, you're going to be out of a job soon because business can change. And my job is every day I get a report card, I get the sales report. That's our report card every day. So, and every month I get a P&L statement, but it's much more than a P&L. It's in sales flash. It's about growing teams for the short term and the long term, which is what I enjoy.
So we started out this conversation talking about a significant event that we're all working ourselves through, and that's the emergence of COVID-19. But that's not the only significant event that we found ourselves working through over the last several months. We're also going through a heightened state of social reckoning, right? The need, the importance, the recognition that there needs to be efforts to combat racial insensitivity, racial discrimination is at a level that I guess many of us in our lifetime have not experienced. Perhaps those in the 60s, the early 60s, may have experienced it, but this is for many of us, it has never gotten this kind of attention in our lifetime. And so my question to both of you is, if you can just really immerse yourself in the moment, right? And see yourself as someone that can make an impact during this time. What is it that we can't miss? What is that opportunity? What is that change? What is that correction that we cannot miss in this moment?
Kiva, do you want me to go first?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky, great question. And this is something I have to look myself in the mirror, and early on as all this was happening last summer, being in Atlanta, where we were in one of the hearts of social unrest with what was going on. And fortunately, we have a very diverse community and our industry is so diverse. But I had to look myself in the mirror and just, ask myself as a leader, under the microscope was I walking the walk of diversity and inclusion. And those of you who are familiar with our company for many years have seen how our company's become a much more diverse company in a lot of ways. Gender leadership, African American, Hispanic. Now with our parent company, we have many members, some members from Paris in our office. So I've really enjoyed that diversity we have developed in our company, which has made me more aware and hopefully a better leader as well. But that was sort of, I think, all of our wake up call, Ricky, was really looking at ourselves and saying, you know, let's be honest with ourselves. So it's our leadership team sat around the table and we said, this cannot just be talk. And a lot of over the years, Ricky, as you know, and others on this call, it's just been talk. It's a bumper sticker one day and it's off the car 6 months later because something else is going on. So early on, we formed a diversity and inclusion council. We were very honest to our people. In my video updates every week, I shared different perspectives of what I was going through personally, as well as what I heard others were going through. So once again, being very transparent and putting it on the table, because trust is everything. And members of our team around the country were all going through different experiences. So we formed a diversity and inclusion council, and we were very honest with our team is this is a journey. This is a journey. We brought in an outside consultant to help guide us, to give us, because we wanted to do it the right way versus the fastest way. Because we know, I mean, fortunately, unlike some other companies, we need to have obviously a short-term perspective, but long-term, how is it going to make us a better family? Because I consider this company a family and a better company as well, where we could all benefit and continue to grow top performers. So we went through that journey. We're in the early stages of the journey. Just this past Monday, we had our I hate to use the term consultant, but really our partner in this to help guide us and really share as a leadership team thoughts of just the last few weeks, where we all went through different experiences. And believe me, I have friends on every side of the aisle, and I've tried to become a better listener to understand. I watch all the news. I watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and that gives me a better perspective of really how different the views are out there. And in our company, it's the same way. And before this, I really was not watching all the news. I was talking to a lot of my friends who thought similarly to me, and then I disagreed with those who didn't, but now hopefully I have a better appreciation for that. So it's a journey, Ricky. We're in the early stages of the journey. I'm energized by the journey because I've seen how diversity has helped our company evolve, but we have a long way to go.
So for myself, I think that as a parent, I have a very obvious intersectionality of my identity. I am a woman and I am a person of color, right? So with that, I obviously have my own experiences, but I have taken my energy recently to make sure that I am supporting a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee that I'm a part of for a different organization within the aviation industry, to take this as the chance to educate, right? So because there are so many questions, because there's so much curiosity regarding, you know, why are people so emotional about these topics? Why? Yeah, a lot of people are asking those questions. So I am using my time and my resources to not only tell my story, but to give a platform to those who are different from me, who are also in a marginalized group. So I am working to try to amplify the voices of people in the Asian community, the LGBTQIA+ community, the differently abled community, every community I could possibly think of as women, the pink collar workforce, if you will, balancing being a growing professional like myself and also being a mother. I keep bringing that up because that is a major part of my identity. My daughter is 6. So as you can imagine, yes, I am the one who's usually on for peanut butter and jelly duty at 12:01 p.m. and not a minute later. So these are, some of the experiences that many of us are going through, and have unfortunately felt, pain, have felt all kinds of feelings. I think the things that have happened in the last few weeks have brought up a lot of feelings. And I think that with that, we can motivate some of those people to tell their stories and to educate many of the people out there who want to know more. I don't know everything, so I am also one of them. I get to, dance on both sides of the line. I can tell my story, but I also can sit down and be quiet and listen. And I think that, whenever you're going through a moment of pain, it's also an opportunity for growth. Growth is painful, and our nation, our systems, they're all figuring out how to get through this growing pain right now. And I think that if I can extend myself in some way to help, to, like I said, to amplify those voices, then I'm definitely going to do that. So that's something that I've done. So I think that this is an opportunity for a lot of us to listen, to look for ways to listen. Like Gregg said, with the diversity and inclusion committee that he has, I think that that's a great way. You even mentioned it, to sit and listen to the stories of the people that are partnered with you in your company, and understanding what you can do to support them. That's a great way to go about it, is to kind of open up the door, to sit down, listen, and let others speak. And then we all figure out how to grow and, get through it together. We can't get over it. We have to get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiva, I'll also just add one thing, and I agree with all your points. As leaders, we walk a very fine line, because I've been very clear to our team, this is not a political issue for me. Okay, this is a issue of fairness, equal opportunity, but once again, people hear what they hear. So how we communicate all this is very important, and you really have to almost micromanage a message where it's still heartfelt. Because if you use the wrong word, it could backfire. Companies who are trying, who are sort of new to this, you could go 2 steps forward and 10 steps back if you say the wrong thing, even though your heart is in the right place. So that's another thing I've learned, is you have to be very careful with the words you use, how you use it, and most importantly, it's authentic, because people can read through it in a minute.
Very true. And Ricky, do I have time for just to layer on that question?
You do. And then we'll turn it over to Anthony. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So just quickly to you, Gregg, with Paradies having tons of partners and many ACDBE partners, I think most people on this call are aware of what the AMAC organization is for. It's really to help minorities and women, leverage this aviation business. So can you tell me a little bit about why the ACDBE program is important to you in your company and organizations like AMAC?
Yeah, well, we have about 130 different partnerships out there, and I believe all of our partners. And it's, why it's important, first of all, to our company is it's made us a better company, because I can't say we have a relationships with every partner, but probably 95%, I would say, are probably very strong partnerships, and we're working on the others. Okay. Yeah. And it's not right or wrong, because we're part of a team. But for us, it's made us it's bringing diversity of opinion. It's brought in additional expertise. Obviously, it brings in a great local perspective, because we're in 100 different airports. I, along with our team, don't know those communities like our partners do, which what has always been very important to my family, like I know your family, Mori, is giving back to the communities we serve. And there's different ways of doing that. And those local partners really help us do that in the right way, in a way that hopefully makes a difference, because that's what we're all here for, is to make a difference. So it's been a key part of our growth as a company. I'm very proud of the relationships our company has. I call many of our partners friends. I trust them. They trust, I think, me and us. So once again, it's been great for our company. And from an industry standpoint, airports are all about bringing the community into airports. And that's what some airports do a great job. Some airports do a good job, but I know there's a big focus on it for the right reasons. We've seen the evolution of the program, Maury, evolve in a very positive manner. We were in the first program in Atlanta back with Maynard Jackson. And so we were in it at the very beginning. We were partners with your grandfather, who was a great mentor, who taught me a lot. So we've seen it evolve, and it continues to evolve, just like everything needs to evolve and get better. And I see it truly has evolved and get better. I am concerned, as we all go through the pandemic, who the survivors will be, particularly some of our sublease partners. Fortunately, additional round of PPP money is coming out, which has been a lifeline for some of our partners. So I'm concerned. We've encouraged our airports to listen to our partners because we're all still trying to survive this pandemic. So yes, I'm concerned, and because I love our partners, they're part of our family, and we all want to survive and prosper long term. But first, it's about surviving short term.
Thank you. Thank you. And Anthony, I know you're back on. I just have one question for Kiva. If you can just give me one word, just listening to you, I'm really inspired. And I know some people have heard the phrase Black girl magic. So if you could just tell me your magic or your superpower in one word as a leaper, what is that?
Truth. I am all about being honest. I think that anyone can be honest. It's not what you say, but how you say it, giving thought to what you're telling other people about, ways that they can improve or the ways that a organization can improve. I believe in just being honest. If anyone comes to me with a question, I pride myself in giving honest feedback. So what you see is what you get. You don't have to read between the lines when you talk to me. So truth and speaking in love. I know that we're professionals and, that we have this professional relationship with those that are around us. But if you can't tell, I am all about remembering that we're all human beings. And when we are in the office, we spend so much time at work, away from our family, our friends, our hobbies, the things that we probably would rather be doing. But I'm dealing with a person and they have good days, they have bad days. And I always remember the person. And so just being honest and speaking in some level of compassion and love is truly what I try to do.
Well, thank you for the questions, Maury and Ricky, and for guiding us through that conversation. We do have a few questions that came in through the chat, so if we can, I'll just go and go through them. Our first question, it says, do you have a mentor now that you two are well established in your respective industries?
Well, I feel like I've been so busy looking for ways to help others. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there, Ricky. Sometime, we're still putting it together for AMAC, but I've been working very closely with the committee chair to build an internship and fellowship program to help other leapers in this industry. So I've been so busy pouring out so much to help others that I don't think I've really created a formal relationship. However, when I first joined MAA, I had a wonderful coworker who told me about building my own personal board of directors, right? Which I love that term. And so what it meant was that there may not be one person who meets all of your needs, who's perfect in every single area. So what you want to do is build out kind of like this council of professionals or people that you look up to and you admire certain characteristics about, and look at them as a resource for help when you need it. So I am still working on that. I'm still building out my board of directors in terms of mentorship. And so, organizations like AMAC and the wonderful professionals that I get to work with every day at MAA have served to be more than enough of a resource to choose those individuals. So for myself, that's what I've been working on.
Anthony, do you want me to?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. I mentioned Dick Dixon was a mentor until I became CEO. I've been fortunate to have many mentors, many great mentors. And most recently, ironically enough, when Paradies Lagardère purchased HBF and Vino Volo, Reginald Washington, who I believe everybody knows, or pretty much everybody knows, was the CEO of HBF, who became my president of dining. So even though he reported to me, he became a mentor to me during the pandemic. We'd walk on Sunday afternoons, have scotch together, and really listen a lot to Reginald because he had such rich experiences. So he became a mentor to me over the last couple of years, but it's just been a very, very special relationship. And also, I'm fortunate to be, I'm in an organization called YPO. It's called Young Presidents Organization. And no, I'm not young anymore, but I've been part of that for a long time. And I'm in a great forum with 10 CEOs. And that's been my sort of advisory board where I can put everything on the table, know it's kept confidential, and I get good, honest feedback and ideas because CEOs go through a lot of similar challenges. And during the pandemic, it's interesting. A lot of my friends, their companies are doing great on this forum, but there's a few that are not, and we're helping each other. So that's been a tremendous resource for me over the years.
Thank you. I think we have time for one more question. This question is to Kiva, and it's asking, how did you know it was time to move from the private sector into the client perspective?
That's a good question. I think it was a couple of things. The first one was, as Ricky knows this, so as Mori, read through my bio, you can see I'm from Baltimore, born and raised, west side of the city. I went through the Baltimore City public school system. From there, I went to a state school, University of Maryland, go Terps all day, and University of Baltimore. But through my journey in engineering, I had a lot of people help me, like not just opening doors, but I remember as early as like middle school, just meeting people that, knew my parents and said, oh, well, I sit on this board and I can help you get into this STEM camp, just things like that. And that has been like a very constant thing through my life. I had, somehow got money from like out of a scholarship, something or other. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Okay. No, I'm not going to age myself, but, but, from some scholarships here and there from different organizations when I was in high school. And I had so many people throughout the state of Maryland who helped me that I was so motivated to kind of give back to the state. My mother, I speak a lot about my family. My mother has worked for the state almost my entire life. And because of that, I had the opportunity to attend an in-state school with paying very little. So I'm very fortunate for that, especially now knowing how much college costs. And so I had so much, I had so many great resources poured into me from representatives of the state of Maryland. And for myself, I thought that was one of the best ways that I could begin to give back and to help others by moving myself into a position that will allow me to elevate in other positions of power in order to help other people. Because, you can't give back unless you got something to give, right? So I had to figure out a way to get in a way that will allow me to give back to others. And this was a perfect opportunity. Actually, at the time, I was working as a consultant for a private company at MAA at the time that this opportunity became available. And, so I knew that the transition would be, logistically easy. So that helped a lot. And so that was the first part of it, is that I definitely wanted to give back. The second part had to do with my work-life balance. You know, I know that, you know, we're all professionals. We love work. We love what we do. We can eat and sleep everything we do, but we also need to have time to do other things. So the structure really helped me to make the decision to start moving in this direction, to give a more stable, you know, environment for my family in terms of my hours, my location, things of that nature. So again, I have a young daughter, so being able to step away to meet her needs was very important. And it's hard to do if you're working on a construction project in DC when you live near Baltimore. So when there was a point, actually, I remember when I was working in DC and my daughter was very young, and some of you all who are parents may know the call that you get, the one that says, well, she feels a little warm. So from that phone call, it took me 2 hours to get to her. And so I said, okay, I gotta figure out something else where I'm still able to give back, do what I love, which is exactly what I'm doing now in terms of engineering and construction and planning and design, but also be able to meet the needs of my family. So this was the perfect fit for myself, and that's why I made this decision.
Well, thank you. We're just at the top of the hour, and I just want to thank our panelists, Kiva Rodriguez and Gregg Paradies, for your inspiring words and your transparency. Thank you, Ricky and Mori, for guiding us through the conversation. Thank you to all our attendees for joining us and engaging with us throughout the entire time. We invite you to join us for next month's Legends and Leapers program on the last Wednesday of the month, February 24th at 2 p.m. We also have a few other programs coming up next month, including our Power Talk with LA Metro CEO Phil Washington, being held on Tuesday, February 9th at 2 p.m. So please register for that. You can register for both events on our website. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it. Thanks for the invite.
So this is where the panel members, I see Gregg jumped off.
We didn't give him the update.
As we
He's not used to this.
This is the after party.
Right.
Because
this
some
is water. This
right,
is
I know. And I have water too. Some people are still hanging on, listening to the after party.
All right.
It's great. I mean, I'm getting text messages. People are really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Charmaine is asking, do I jump on now? Who can tell Charmaine not to jump on? Oh, it's Lauren. Oh, Lauren's trying to jump on.
My friend is so funny.
No, this is great.
Yeah,
outstanding, great. Mori.
Thank you so much, you all.
Yes.
Kiva, that was really great.
Yes.
Great. I'm really happy and glad I could be a part of it.
You made me proud.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to ask you a question, Kiva, about, I was like, hey, look, I know your boss is on the line, but what's next? We know you're down with CWI, but what's your future? What's next? And I was like, let me just hold off on that one.
You should have asked that.
You probably were going to be like, you were going to just continue with the, you know, where you're currently at. And I'm glad to know that you love what you do. It shows.
I do.
But I do like to, you know, kind of think, okay, what is 10 years from now look like?
I hope ultimately it's me.
Oh, listen, I just said that in a committee meeting. I was giving an example of something. And I said, by the way, in case it gets back, no, I don't want Ricky's job.
Well, I want you to want my job. Just give me a chance to get out of it. But.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want her to want your job, but not right now.
Hey guys, sorry I'm back. I didn't realize to stay on, but I pushed out my 3 o'clock call for a few minutes.
Oh, no, we do the after party and you know, some people hang on. As a matter of fact, every now and then we get a question. I see Rosie. Rosie's been very active with her comments. Yeah. She said, just so you know, Kiva, so Rosie used to be the commissioner of O'Hare. She said that I scored a knockout with you.
Come from Rosie, that means a lot. Believe
wow,
me,
thank you.
Well.
Thank you. I accept
That's
that.
the ultimate compliment.
Lauren said she posted a question.
Uh-oh.
we don't ask Lawrence questions, do we? We still have a contract dispute with her. Well, she's supposed to be, on the sideline.
He's
Right?
the feature.
I think you have a couple of questions. What's saying, what is it like working with that man?
Great. It's fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, we could take that offline, Kiva.
Yeah, you don't have to answer all of that now.
Hey, Ricky, by the way, congratulations on winning the ACI Watkins Guardian Award.
Yeah, that's special.
That's prestigious.
That's great.
Given who it's named after, but that
Leon was the best.
Leon was just amazing. But the award, I appreciate the award, but the award doesn't mean as much to me. It's important, but it doesn't mean as much to me as the stories behind the award. And you guys just witnessed one of them, right? And that's Kiva.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And Kiva discreetly referenced another one when she talked about the person who told her to create her own board of directors. I know who that person is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a person who wasn't in the industry, convinced her to come into the industry, and she's making the kind of impact on other professionals in the organization in a significant way, besides being an amazing, professional. We won 2 Emmy Awards, right? I don't think there's another airport in the country that's won an Emmy. We won 2 Emmy Awards.
Congratulations,
And it's
Ricky.
because of the person that she's talking about. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, wow, that's exciting.
I mean it when I say I work with a great team of professionals. That's not lip service. Like, I'm in awe every day by what they do.
Now he's probably not on this call because he called me while we were having the session. But the only person she has to put up with is Paul Shank. Paul Shank is the guy that she works with, and we call it it's her burden, it's her tax, right? That she has to pay working with Paul Shank. I wish he was on the call because we pick at each other like that, and we always pick at him.
Yes.
We love him to death, but we don't waste an opportunity to pick.
Paul is a handful. He's a lot of fun to work with too.
Yes.
He has so many stories. He's just so much fun. So
one of his stories is, Paul is a licensed pilot, right? And he has this yellow aircraft that he flies. So he convinced his wife to go on a flight with him. I think this was one Sunday afternoon.
mm-hmm.
So they're flying and everything's going fine and everything, and then the engine goes out, right? Yeah. And if you can imagine, his wife is forgetting that he's her husband at that time. She's describing him in all kinds of ways that he hadn't heard before, because the engine is shot. And so it turns into a glider. And that's how he lands the plane. He lands it as a glider.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
So these are the stories we get to hear in staff meeting.
Yes.
So, as we go around that, how was your weekend?
Yeah, I might have to come work for you, Ricky. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, Greg,
I put new marigolds,
I can't afford you. Look, remember, when Kiva told her story,
that's for sure.
When Kiva told her story, she didn't say she came to us because of the pay. She didn't say pay.
Yeah, I make up for it in other ways. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. How do you guys feel like it went today? I'm just y'all participate in a lot of these events. I know we'll get some feedback.
Well, before you jump back on, I was telling them that my phone has been blowing up with text messages. People are still commenting about how amazing this session was. You guys blew it away. I'm hearing words like that you guys were transparent, you were honest, you were genuine, you were insightful. That's what people want. They don't want to hear canned speeches. Yeah. They want to hear you guys, speak from the heart. And that's part of the reason why we don't give you the questions in advance.
That's a great format, Ricky. Really, I commend you on that, because I actually enjoyed it a lot more because of that.
Yeah. But you all are both, Kiva, this is my first time meeting you, and Gregg, I don't know you very well, but the energy that I get from you every time you're speaking, the energy I get from Paradies, Lagardère, this is what happens when you have good people on a call, and there's not much plan around it.
Yeah, no, it felt very natural. And Kiva and I obviously don't know each other well, other than last week's call, but no, I'm looking forward to getting to know Kiva better and just love your energy, Kiva.
Thank you.
And really, I enjoy mentoring. So I have some mentors at work and some outside of work. And of course, my kids. So with your kids, it's a little different. But now I'm not as dumb as they thought I was when they were in college or high school. They actually seek my advice, and that's been very rewarding, particularly with girls. But I've been mentoring. It's just amazing, this generation, how hungry they are, and also the awareness piece in this navigating this whole pandemic, and just my wife and I joke that we're lucky our kids are out of school, because we would not have been very good with this parenting during the pandemic. But I'm amazed at these kids, and as they say, the long-term health impact to people is going to be much greater than anything else of this pandemic, which is sometimes a big concern. That's why we try to stay very close to our people, and we've all been able to get closer to our people during the pandemic because people are not willing to open up more, and it's safer too than it would have been a year ago. So.
Gregg, honestly, I was gonna say, don't be surprised if you see an email from me because I already have like questions for you that I would love for you to just at least take a few minutes to
Sure.
and chat
Sure.
with us about.
No, love to share. I made a lot of mistakes, so I could share a lot of mistakes with you, so you don't go through those same pitfalls. But that's how you learn. And once again,
I am not trying to leave. What I want to do is make sure I know more about vendor relations. That's what I want to learn.
Just so you know, Rachel is in the audience, right, Kiva?
That's funny.
Rachel is in the audience, so she might be the one who's sending some of those.
I know. I saw some of the. You see the little pop-ups. So.
Well, guys, I'm sorry. I have to leave this call, but I wish I could stay on for another hour because this has been so enjoyable. So thanks again for the invitation. And Kiva, look forward to our relationship continue to evolve. And Mori, great to get to know you a little better. Ricky, I know we always see each other passing at conferences, and look forward to developing that relationship even greater. And
absolutely,
Anthony, great job. Thank you for all the work you're doing. So really enjoyed the time together. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Please be safe.
Great to chat.
Thank you. Appreciate you too, guys. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Kiva, I'll see you at some time, I'm sure.
Yes, we will be meeting together soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So thank you, Maury. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you,
Maury,
all.
Thank you, Shermana.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Shermana, behind the curtain, thank you as well.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you.
Ravena.